Hi everyone, welcome back. Today I am trying something new. I got these Ampersand gesso panels, and I know we've all tried some of the regular canvas boards and had them all buckle. However, Ampersand says that these are specifically intended for mixed media purposes, and that includes paint pouring. It says it right on their website. And so I decided to give it a try and test it out to see if it actually works. So, one thing to note when you're doing a swipe is you really need to make sure you have the right amount of pillow paint. Don't be afraid to take pillow paint off of your canvas. So, I'm starting off with my black cell activator made with Amsterdam black and Australian Floetrol. This white cell activator is Amsterdam Pearl White mixed with Australian Floetrol. I'm mixing the two up because it just creates a really cool effect. This ginger flower is actually like one of my favorite pinks, and amber wing creates like a really cool iridescent type effect. And yeah, gold is amazing, but it also does best on the bottom, so it should go on the top when you're doing a swipe, like on the top of your pile, not on the top, you know what I mean. So when swiping, just remember, keep it consistent and don't push too hard. This was a significantly smaller swipe than I normally do. This was only a 5x7 board. I was really just wanting to test to see if these boards would actually hold up to paint or to as much paint as what I was going to put on them. And I have to say, I was actually pleasantly surprised. I have never actually come across a panel board that could withstand as much paint and even resin. This was just genuinely impressive. I was very determined to make this one work, and so I actually did a lot more swirly than I normally do. It seemed like my normal types of swirls weren't going to work on this one because of how small it was. So I've been watching others try these intricate, I'm not even entirely sure what to call them, but they do a lot with the swirls in a way that's a lot different than mine. So I was testing it out to see what all I could do. I feel like it's really important to note that your first set of swirls isn't the last set. You can continue making swirls right up until the very end. With this one, I really hardly spun it at all because I was just trying to get the paint over a little bit. I wanted to make it cover the canvas, but I still wanted to mess with it. And because I had just the right amount of pillow paint, I was able to then go in after the fact and add my swirls. So it really is awesome. Like when I first started pouring, I was under the impression that you had to, you really just had to do your swirls at the beginning because if you did them at the end, they weren't going to turn out as well. But I'm finding as I go that is not at all the case. You can make your swirls at any time and never be afraid to test different types of swirls and different techniques. I am using my my embossing tool. It is just hands down the best tool I've ever purchased. Or actually, I didn't purchase it. I got it from my grandma. However, these are just some of the best tools that I've ever had. You can fix little problems. You can create swirls. You can pop bubbles. They're pretty awesome. I highly suggest checking them out, and I will put a link in the description below of where you can find a set of embossing tools that are fairly inexpensive that are very similar to mine, just so you can see what exactly it is that I'm using. At this point, I really wasn't entirely sure what I was doing. I just wanted to keep playing with the swirls. It definitely came out with a very different effect than what I normally go for, but that's okay. That's kind of the fun part about fluid art, is that you can experiment and play and never be afraid to try something new, because the worst that's going to happen is you may just need to scrape your board at the end. But you never end a project without having learned something. And that's the important part. Like, you just always get to experiment and try new things. So I do have to say, these Ampersand gesso panels were really surprising to me. Like, they are only, I think it's 3/8 of an inch. And I managed to get them to not only dry, but then hold up to resin. I tested it out with another type of their panels that was actually, I want to say it was closer to 3/4 of an inch. And that one didn't hold up as well. However, after I got to looking at them, I think the problem wasn't necessarily that the panel wouldn't hold up. I think it's the way that I had it drying. I didn't have enough support in the middle. So I suggest, if you do decide to try these gesso boards or Ampersand panels, that you make sure to brace in the middle of them. I usually use little medicine cups to put my pours on top of for them to dry. And I just suggest, if you're doing something like what I do, put one dead center in the middle of it as well, because it really seemed to make a difference for this one specifically. The other one, I still need to figure out how to make it sit flat. I put resin on it, and it has a little bit of a bow. But these smaller gesso panels ended up working really well. I plan on testing out a larger one. I have a 9x12 that I plan on painting on here in the next few days. I got it all taped up last night and ready to go. When you're using these, make sure to tape all the way through the back. It just kind of keeps things clean and smooth, and also makes it so when you resin, it just, like, you're not scraping off of the bottom. I decided to try these because I really wanted to be able to frame my pours, and it seemed like a good idea, like a good option to try a flat board that was specifically intended for this kind of purpose. At this point, I pretty much felt like I was good to go. I really liked the way that it turned out. It was nice and bold and bright, and it's really hard to see in this particular spot, but it really is like bright all the way through, especially when the light's shining on it. I don't know how much you can see the sparkles, but holy bananas, it was a lot of sparkles. Anyway, if you had any questions, comments, concerns, please let me know. If you enjoyed this video, please like, and if you are not already, please consider subscribing. Thank you. Have a great day.